no justice, no peace. The police.
We began the day at a jail support rally at 26 in California in regards with the charges against the 3 Bridgeport arrestees that are brought up on what I personally feel are some bogus charges. Last week, there were a car full of protesters in from out of town that got pulled over and harassed by the Chicago Police Department and threatened to have their skulls cracked in, told that they were going to be hunted down at NATO. Somebody in that car ended up filming this video and they got it put through up onto YouTube. That video went out to all the mainstream media and independent media on all the media lists that were available. That created a mass embarrassment for the Chicago Police Department and a PR hit that caused the Superintendent McCarthy to have to respond within hours, which is highly unusual. From then came a raid, which very well may have just been targeting because they had the embarrassment of this video being released, in addition to trying to instill fear into the public to make people not come down for the NATO actions today. The 3 people that were charged up, and it's my understanding that there's been more that have been added to that, but I do not have the details. I think it's up to 5. Were all people in that car and part of that video. And they busted them on having a homemade or a homemaking beer situation, and I have a hard time believing any of what they're saying is going on. We've yet to see, the evidence. We'll see where it goes, but in my personal opinion, I really feel like it's a retaliation from a black eye for the Chicago PD, in addition to a fear campaign that I'm sure is orchestrated from all sorts of federal level powers in order to create that fear and compliance and make people afraid to come out and march and use their constitutional rights against NATO, and saying that these wars are unjust and that this war machine needs to stop. So when the raids happened, there was a pretty big uproar because a lot of us here locally know these people, have been working with these people within protests, been standing side by side, had each other's backs. And so a lot of protesters have been very distressed about this. And so there's actually been a number of rallies and actions that have spurred out of support for these arrestees, support for jail support, getting these arrestees out, support with trying to make sure that everybody knows that the people that are charged should be out. But they did hold most of the arrestees for 48 hours before releasing them, which left time for multiple marches and rallies to have happened within that. It certainly enraged and upset the protesting community here, and felt like that was something that they needed to express using their constitutional rights to do so with freedom of speech and assembly. And so we've had a number of actions, and the largest certainly was the jail support for when these protesters were going up, the ones that are charged, going up to bond court. So from that stemmed a huge day of activities that ended up winding up at 11:30 that evening, and it was extremely powerful, and it showed extreme, violent use of tactics from the Chicago Police Department and the feds, with no violent tactics used by any of the protesters along that way.